Cartoon pilots are incredibly important. They truly make or break a concept. SpongeBob SquarePants, The Simpsons, Family Guy, Avatar: The Last Airbender. All of these shows needed to stand up to scrutiny in their first aired or unaired pilots. Every once in a while, a pilot comes along that reminds people why original animation matters. And the Knights of Guinevere, Dana Terrace, has proven yet again that she's one of the most exciting voices in modern animation. The pilot isn't just another indie project. It feels like the kind of show that could redefine what audiences expect from creator-driven animation online. To those somehow uninitiated, Dana Terrace is best known as the creator of The Owl House, one of Disney's most acclaimed series in recent years, even with its shortened run, due to Disney higher-ups considering it off-brand, since as Dana Terrace put it, the show was serialized similar to that of an anime, but that was unfortunately not what Disney wanted. And so before it even got to grow wings with its fandom growing, they cut it short. In spite of this, it built a dedicated fan base, praised for its world building, emotional writing, and groundbreaking representation. And importantly, it somehow wrapped up perfectly with an incredibly truncated final season due to Disney cutting it off. Terrace's career has been about taking familiar genres and pushing them further, whether it was adding gorgeous visuals to the supernatural mystery in Gravity Falls, adventurous comedy in DuckTales 2017, or as she explained, an anime-styled serialized story in The Owl House. So when news broke that she was stepping into the world of independent animation with Knights of Guinevere, expectations were immediately sky high for many. I had my reservations since she was now stepping into the world of adult animation with little to no restrictions from Glitch. But that said, from what we've seen in this pilot, those expectations weren't just met, they were absolutely exceeded. Let's start with the obvious. Knights of Guinevere is gorgeous. The animation style feels fluid, expressive, and polished in a way that immediately sets it apart from a lot of recent indie projects, and its traditional 2D animation, which good lord, I think we could use more of these days. And just a quick reminder to drop a like and a comment so we can get more eyes on this video, and in turn more awareness on Knights of Guinevere. We need a full season, damn it! Just like the entirety of The Owl House, there's a sense of detail and craftsmanship that makes every frame feel alive, whether it's the character designs, the action sequences, or even the quieter, more atmospheric moments. One of the biggest complaints that fans have sometimes had with indie shows, even massively successful ones like The Amazing Digital Circus or Hell of a Boss, is that you can feel the limitations of their productions. They're creatively ambitious, but you can tell they're working with tight schedules and budgets and limited knowledge of storytelling. Much of their shows exist solely on the rule of cool, which isn't bad, but when you're left scratching your head about how heaven and hell works, it gets a bit distracting. This is not the fault of theirs, of course, and you can't expect everyone to have worked with Disney in their life. Knights of Guinevere, on the other hand, looks like it had the breathing room and resources to fully realize its vision. With Dana Terrace's amazing eye for animation and world building, the result is a pilot that doesn't just look good for indie, it looks good, period. It makes me hope we don't see the downgrade treatment Hazbin Hotel had after its initial gorgeous pilot went up on YouTube, but only time will tell in the end. What's just as impressive as the animation is just how much weight the story carries right out the gate. Dana Terrace has always been known for blending humor, adventure, and emotions seamlessly, and the Knights of Guinevere is no exception. The pilot wastes no time telling you its world, balancing spectacle with character-driven storytelling. Where a lot of indie pilots seem to think their scripts should read like a Soulsborne item description, crammed with overly complicated lore that overshadows the actual story, the Knights of Guinevere takes the opposite approach, letting its world feel big and mysterious without ever distracting from the narrative. And on top of that, as somebody who's often complained about character design, I'm actually happy to say that the pilot resists the urge to parade a massive lineup of the epic, overly designed OC characters. Instead, its designs strike the right balance of unique and memorable, without ever drifting into Sonic OC territory like some other online shows tend to do. Looking at you, Gaslight District. But I digress. You can tell Dana had fun finally letting loose, no longer feeling tied down having to market her cartoon to children, or, as she put it,
I don't have an S&P department telling me to round off all the edges of my show. I can actually make something for an older audience. I don't have to pretend to be like, this is actually like Family Guy, this is actually like blah blah blah. I can actually just make the show that I want to make with all my collaborators.
The best part is it doesn't feel like a carbon copy of her entire earlier work. While you can see echoes of the Owl House in the way characters bounce off each other, or how the world feels lived in, the Knights of Guinevere still pushes into new territory. It's darker, bolder, and more ambitious, proving that Terrace isn't just repeating herself, she's evolving. And while plenty of people have asked whether or not she aims to return to the Owl House, she's made it abundantly clear she has no intentions of making that what her entire career is about. She wants to move forward with creating bigger and bolder stories intended for older audiences. Instead of being pigeonholed on working on kids television where God forbid two girls kiss like a girl and boy would in any other traditional cartoon, she can go absolutely wild with any relationship shenanigans moving forward. And no, Twitter, just because the two female leads of Knights of Guinevere aren't in each other's pants as Dana suggests, that doesn't mean she's still restricted. But not just that, as a fellow horror enjoyer that always appreciated her penchant for macabre visuals, she can get as gory and weird as she pleases with her shows now working with Glitch. You could tell when she said,
"It's in space and a theme park. It's filled with robots and gore."
She absolutely meant it. And for the tone of the world, it makes absolute sense that it's this brutal. This is also where Knights of Guinevere becomes more than just a pilot. It's a statement about where animation is heading. Independent projects have been dominating online spaces for years now, but very few have had the chance to feel as polished and ambitious as this. However, Boston Has-Been Hotel proved that fan-funded projects can reach massive audiences. The Amazing Digital Circus showed just how fast a pilot can go viral and capture mainstream attention. But Knights of Guinevere takes it a step further. It shows what happens when an industry veteran with experience at Disney, Gravity Falls, and beyond brings that same level of expertise to an indie project. And not just that, put her soul into the project as her own cathartic fuck you to Disney.
Like I come up with any story, I was pissed off one day and this became a cathartic release.
What were you pissed about?
Oh man. A lot.
The result isn't just another viral pilot. It feels like something that could genuinely shift the landscape and encourage more established creators to step outside of the studio system and take risks online. What really stands out about Knights of Guinevere is its production value. With the Amazing Digital Circus, the appeal came from its surreal style and clever premise, but the 3D animation was divisive for some, often feeling it was too shiny and like only partially rendered versions of a Pixar film. With Hell of a Boss and Has-Been Hotel, the draw was the edgy humor and strong fan community. But even fans admitted that the animation can be inconsistent at times due to Amazon's backing. By contrast, Knights of Guinevere feels like a project that combines the best of both worlds. The freedom and originality of indie animation with the polish and professionalism of major studios. It's a rare combination that could set a new bar for what audiences expect from online animation. Even if this is just the beginning and just a pilot of Knights of Guinevere, it already feels like a milestone for animation. It's proof that Dana Terrace has a creative vision, the experience, and the drive to make something that stands shoulder to shoulder with the best in the medium, whether it's indie or mainstream television. If the Owl House was Dana Terrace proving herself under Disney's restrictions, Knights of Guinevere is her proving what she can do when she's absolutely free. And based on this pilot, the answer is clear. She can create something truly extraordinary. So while we'll have to wait and see how the full series gets developed, one thing is already obvious. Knights of Guinevere isn't just a great pilot. It's a sign of just how bright the future of creator-driven animation really is. Much like Zach Hadel and Michael Cusack shook up the traditional media landscape coming from new rounds in YouTube animation royalty, Dana full-on Cyclops landed her way into the indie animation scene, and I don't know about you, but I'm excited to see where her influence on the indie animation scene goes next, beyond Knights of Guinevere's pilot.
I love my other shows, but KOG is the first time I really feel like I'm doing something genuine and without being forced to hold back.